how's it going? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate being here. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
Grateful for it.
Yeah, I was looking forward about this interview. So tell us about yourself here in the Asiana Post community.
For me, so my name is Louis Grayson. I'm founder of Ramen Lab Eatery here in Boca Raton, Delray, and West Palm Beach. A little bit of background about myself. My family's from Thailand. I was born here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but I grew up in England. So I moved to England when I was about 11 or 12 till 18, 19. Then came back down here for college. So went to college here at Lynn University over here in Boca. Finished that in 3 years, and I wasn't a fan at Boca or South Florida at that time.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of
Yeah,
people.
it wasn't as diverse, and it wasn't what I was looking for after graduating college. So I applied to all the big cities, and I eventually ended up in Washington, D.C., the DMV area, so Maryland, Virginia, D.C. Lived there for about 4 years, traveled a lot for work, ended up being in New York for a little bit, and then came back down here and ended up opening my own business. So it was a little bit like a tipping point up there.
Awesome. So let's unpack the opening your business. What kind of fired that? Like what made it start? What amplified it to start your own business?
So for me, I think I was always an ambitious person to begin with, and it was in Washington D.C. when I did a food competition. I was just going out to eat, trying new places. I was like, oh wow, this is cool, this and that. And that was the time when Instagram was becoming a thing. I was taking pictures here and there. And in DC, they had a food competition, and they had a food hall before it was a big thing now, where if you would have won, you would have won a free stall in that food hall to operate your business. So we applied for it, and we did a concept called Bao Bros, and it was bao buns concept, where you just make your own bao buns, things like that. And we got into the finals. So we served up, I think, 300 or 400 people with samples, and then we had to do like a Shark Tank interview in front of everybody. 5 judges. You had investor, top chefs of the local community, people who were looking, audience person, and unfortunately we didn't win, but we got second place, People's Choice Award, and that was really the tipping point for me. That pushed me into really doing my own business, going to the restaurant business, because I grew up in the restaurant business. However, I hated the restaurant.
Right.
Absolutely hated it. I saw my parents work so hard all day and night. We slept in the restaurant, we slept on the floor, we were in there all day and night. Couldn't do anything. Anytime somebody had off, like from a regular 9-to-5 job or on the weekends, we're always working. So I grew up doing that, and I knew like the restaurant was not for me. However, when I moved to DC, and the first jobs and a few jobs I got were all related into hospitality, tech, hospitality, and I saw the bigger opportunity, the bigger picture. And during that time, family was getting a little bit older, and they were like, well, why don't you come back and help out? And luckily I was working from home before work from home was a thing. And I was like, okay, well, I'll come back a little bit and then help out here and there. And they're like, well, you did this old competition thing in DC, so why don't you open up your own thing? I was like, I really do want to. And it was just like one thing that stuck to me that my mom said, and my uncle actually, who's my biggest mentor and my biggest person of success for me, is that he's like, if you don't do it now, then it's gonna be harder for you when you do it later. You have nothing to lose now. If it doesn't work out, you have enough experience and everything to go back into working corporate or whatever you want to do. But you might be in debt, but it is what it is. You started young. So he's like, the sooner you do it, the sooner you give it a shot, the more value and experience you'll have. Because even though you might, if it doesn't work out, you pay a lot of money for it, but that's considered more like a master's degree for you. There you go. So you're learning one way or another.
Yeah, experience is the best teacher, right? And also, actually, it's better than going to college because it's the real deal.
It is. I think college helps with some foundational stuff, and it helps with the soft skills.
Right.
But really, doing it yourself is very important, and just experience of you just have to do it. I mean, there's a lot of talking involved, but at the end of the day, if you just go and do it, you're already ahead of most people who are just thinking about it.
Got it. So when you won the competition in DC, you got a lot of applaud. You know, because I heard people. I actually interviewed people from Shark Tank, and they said that even though they didn't win, they got a lot of traction, and it kind of starts. It actually amplified their business because they got free coverage. Right? So
Okay.
is that somewhat similar that happened to you in DC?
It certainly did.
Okay.
So if you would have won first place, you would have had all this money and free things like that. But second place didn't really get you much, but we did get People's Choice Awards, so we had traction.
Right.
We had 1 or 2 investors that did reach out. And during that time, me and my friend who were doing it together, we were both working corporate.
Right.
So we were like, if we won, we would have quit.
Right.
But even though we didn't win, just doing it really caught traction. So we started doing pop-ups in different restaurants here and there.
Right.
And we didn't know how well it was going to be. Actually, we sold out all our tickets.
That's amazing.
We were in someone else's restaurant just doing our thing, and it went on pretty well. We had a good brand. We were even looking at places, and then we had to sort of make a decision because we weren't 100% in.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Is like, if you're gonna do something, you have to be 110% committed. If not, it's really, really hard, especially in a restaurant industry or a hospitality industry or any business in general.
That is true though.
Yes, it was like we were both in our corporate, we were getting promoted, we were making pretty good money.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, it's a pretty hefty life, and we're like all day and night like making bao buns. We literally made every single bao bun from scratch.
Yeah, that's difficult, juggling it, right? And then you gotta go back to corporate and.
Yes, but overall, like just doing it, didn't win, but having the traction to move on with it actually taught us a lot. I still have connections up there who I can call for advice. And anytime I go back, it's a good connection to have to see what's going on. And then it actually helped us set up to understand, landlords were reaching out, hey, we have a spot for you. We love your concept, things like that. And I didn't realize at the time that the fact that that was happening for us is a lot of steps ahead compared to a random person thinking about, I want to do this business. So then now they got to contact somebody and try to figure it out. We were already 20 steps ahead just from doing that. So it was really a big opportunity. It opened a lot of doors.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But we didn't grasp it as quick as we should.
Yeah. And so being in DC, do you felt like there was, once you were doing the pop-up, was there like a lot of competition, or did it enhance your skill set or enhance your ability to make these amazing foods?
I think everything that you just said, yes to. I would say yes to. Just being in a city, really, I don't know. For me, I'm a big city person.
Right.
So coming back to Boca to live, I was very hesitant on it.
Yeah.
However, I love being in the city. It gives me energy. There's a million things going on. You have more minds around you, more competition around you to challenge you.
Right.
And Boca is becoming that now, which is great. But when I was in DC, there were so many different concepts that were just becoming a thing. I think Mind of a Chef was on Netflix. Anthony Bourdain was like pretty big, and we were watching that, and that just gave me inspiration. We'd go up to New York, see what's going on. What's the trend right now?
Right.
I remember like the poke trend was a thing when we were into that. And then it really just transpired. When you're living in a city, there's so much competition, there's so much challenges. If you don't do it first, then you've already lost out a little bit, right? There's a million, let's say that there's a million ramen restaurants in Japan, but whoever was the first one or the one to do it different, those are the ones that really stuck out. So for me, I think, learning that experience, it was definitely honing. I had no kitchen experience.
Oh, wow.
Didn't learn anything. We were literally just like reading books, watching YouTubes. YouTube was my best friend during that time. And just putting it all to work, testing it out. We made, the night before the competition, we made actually over 1,000 bao buns. And we realized that we forgot one ingredient, and we were wondering why our bao bun didn't puff up. So we had to throw them all away. And the night of the competition, we actually didn't sleep. We didn't sleep at all. And then we had to go on into
nerve-wracking.
It was nerve-wracking, running on adrenaline, anxiety, everything. But we're like, damn, we forgot that. We were so excited, and we were all prepared, but it screwed us up. And then luckily that anxiety and that adrenaline really pushed us through on everything. And I thought we were gonna win. It was there was five finalists.
Okay.
The person who won was an arepa zone, which is a arepa concept, which is actually very similar to our bao concept, but just like more Latin style.
Okay.
But yeah, overall it was a great experience, and for me, it was just do it, learn it, whatever. The more you try, the more experience you'll get from self-development, from honing your skills, from networking.
Yeah, those are key factors to be successful, or just to go over the hump of for your business. Those are very helpful. So fast forward, you moved to Boca. Which restaurant did you start first? Which location?
The first location was our Boca Raton location.
Okay.
So the restaurant that ended up doing, so my mom had this restaurant for I think about 17 years called Sushi Thai, right there on South of Meisner.
Okay.
And it does pretty well, but I was just, there's so many sushi Thai concept in Florida.
Right.
I don't know if that's just a Floridian thing.
Right.
When I go other states, not as many.
Yeah.
And that was the first location, and I knew I wanted to do something different. I traveled a lot for work, and I was like, there's really no ramen concept here, and there's no really like izakaya or small tapas concept, and it was so hard to find something to eat in this area.
Yeah.
Like, you're not as blessed with so many different options down here.
Right.
It's very small. So I was like, okay, well, why don't we do a ramen concept? Not knowing too much about it.
Right.
And I had to do a lot of planning for it. I had to ask a Japanese chef to teach me the foundations of everything. And we spun it off because I knew, in my head, I like to think, it's all right, everything's easy. Just do it, and so everything's easy.
Right.
But from my mothers and uncles, and they're like, are you crazy? It's not that easy. I was like, no, it will be.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you gonna find the people? How are you gonna teach them? I was like, we'll figure it out. That was always my mentality on everything.
Okay.
I know, and when I'm doing it, I'm thinking like, it really isn't that easy. But just having that perspective to begin with, I think is very important.
Yeah. Being brave and being bold, right?
Brave, bold, and positive.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the keys too. And then you're kind of like flying the plane, or flying and fixing the plane at the same time. That concept, that's what they say. So when you opened Ramen Lab, right? How was it the very first day? Can you remember?
Oh, I remember it very well.
Okay.
First day, I remember I woke up late. I was very tired. First day we had family's Buddhist, I'm Buddhist, and we had a Buddha blessing. So I remember setting that up, and I just thought, damn, this restaurant is so small. I don't know how we're gonna fit everybody in here for our blessing. So that was that. We didn't announce anything that we were open. Okay. So we just stayed open, and then we ended up, one came in, because people around here, they like to walk around like, oh, what is this? What is that? Which is great, because we're in downtown Boca.
Right.
So, and then we just ended up having a line. We understood, like, we sold out on that first day because I didn't prepare enough. I was like, we're not gonna be that busy, it's just we didn't announce anything. It was however, we sold out, and I was like, oh darn, I really gotta prep a lot more. So that, I remember the first day was like that, really just figuring it out. We didn't know, like, okay, well, now we gotta put this here, put that here, and it was really my first time running a kitchen. I ran a restaurant before, like I managed a restaurant, but running a kitchen is completely different. And to really like be under pressure, even though some people might not see it as busy, and it was a really open concept, so everybody can see you. It's an open restaurant. Yeah. Very small and tight.
More pressure, right?
Yes, more pressure. When they're looking at you, it's a lot more pressure, trust me, and things are done fast, because when we open a different location, it's double the size, and the kitchen is closed. Right. They take their sweet time. Right. But when people are looking at you, you're like, all right, I gotta get done for them, which is great, you know. So yeah, that first week was great. First day was definitely an experience. I was overwhelmed, but I felt success at the same time. Just knowing that one or two people came through the door, I would have been happy. Just knowing that they would try and give us the feedback, which was great. In preparation to that, we did a small pop-up at actually Lemongrass in a little room. Oh, nice. Where we just, because we started the social media, whoever we saw was interactive will reach out, hey, you know, we're doing a free night of ramen tasting. We're just trying to figure out our new menu.
Right.
Would you like to come? So that really helped us prepare and get the feedback on what we needed before the first day. So yeah, after that it was a success. There was long lines waiting, and then we just went from there.
So how long have you been in that location in Boca? That's always been there, right? That location from the very beginning, or was it other location?
No, that was the first location ever. So that one has been there for over 5 years now. We just had our 5-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it felt like it's been 20 years because so many things happened. But we're finally building a strong foundation team. I think it's very important to have a good team with you, especially when you're trying to grow.
Yep.
And people that you can trust. So it's great that I've been blessed with that.
Yep.
So we've been busy. We have a new location coming in West Boca, hopefully open in September.
Is it going to be bigger?
It is going to be bigger than the Boca, about double the size.
Okay.
I think in that location we would like to do more of a more like a noodle house.
Okay.
Yeah, focus on Japanese, but I think as I tend to get older, I tend to go more back into my culture now.
Yep.
Okay, I understand I'm westernized. I do speak Thai and everything, and I enjoy Thai food, things like that. However, I've always enjoyed more of Japanese, Korean type of food. But as I get older, I'm actually going back into my Southeast Asian culture, and we're trying to bring that to West Boca to make it more like a noodle house with like different flavorings, things like that.
Very cool. Cool. So did you, your team study the area? Do you think that there's going to be more traction, or is it that you saw people from the East Boca location start going to the East Boca and say, hey, we live at West Boca, when you guys can open? Is that why the reason?
No, good question. So we've always looked in the West, here and there, just because we knew like we want to stay in the Palm Beach County.
Right.
But we started noticing during Corona that a lot of the people who are our clientele, which are millennials, families, that they started to move out to West Boca.
Right.
And either East Boca is becoming so expensive, which is great for the economy and great for the city. However, you know, most of our clientele started to move out there, and we saw that there was a big following. And over there's becoming more and more development over there as things become more dense. And that was sort of, we had our eyes in that area for a little bit, but we weren't sure. And then an opportunity came up where we saw a vacancy in a plaza in Mission Bay. And we're like, okay, shoot, like the area. It's a good unit number. We have like, I have some feng shui when I do things, but yeah, it's a good unit number for me, and I like how it is. I like where the sun is setting, things like that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this one.
Awesome. So, what happened when there's cultures that come into your restaurant, and are they highly criticizing critics about your dish, and how do you go about that?
Good question. You just sparked a memory for me. When we first opened in Boca, I think one of the reviews or comments that I had, because at the beginning when we opened, I like to have high energy in the restaurant. So we got our staff to yell welcome in different language. So Japanese, irashaimase, Korean, annyeonghaseyo, or you know, in Spanish or whatever. So we have all our people yelling welcome and goodbye in whatever language, just to feel welcome, hospitable. And we had Korean music playing, and one of the reviews was, okay, this restaurant must be owned by a white guy, because they're yelling all this culture in a Japanese, you're serving Japanese dish, etc. And clearly he doesn't understand culture and a little bit racist towards. I'm like, what? But you know, growing up Asian American, for the most part, I tend to have different perspective, and it might not be just one line of a certain country or a certain demographic. So when we present our food, it's Japanese, yes. We try to do a tradition. And then there's Thai, yes, grandma's recipe. Grandma was a big factor in my life. She raised me, so that's another one. And then Korean, because I enjoy Korean food. And we have mixed reviews sometimes, but overall I think it's something new, something refreshing, something that's needed, I think.
I think so too,
Yeah, and it's I do like traditional food. However, for me, it just represents me as an individual. It's when people ask me, oh, where are you from? I can't, or what's your background? It's very hard for me just to, it really depends on who asks me. Right. It really, it's hard to pinpoint. It's just, and then I think the newer generation, most of the people are becoming a little bit mixed everywhere. So when we send out the food on what we like and what I like, it represents me as an individual.
Very cool. Yeah, they embrace it.
Exactly.
Very cool. So then you expanded to other locations like Delray, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how long has the Delray location been around?
Delray's been around for about 4 years.
Okay.
One of the challenges that we had in Delray when we first opened, so our concept is a fast casual. We want to do counter service, fast casual. That's how we started in Boca. With when you order at the counter, we'll give you a number and we'll run things out to you. So we didn't want to be a Chipotle or a Payway, but we also didn't want to be a full service restaurant where a waiter comes to you. We wanted to be somewhere in between that they didn't have here yet.
Yeah, when the very beginning, I thought it was gonna be that kind of concept, but that's good that you explained to the viewers.
Yeah, because it wasn't. I don't think anybody had something like that here, because we had a lot of customers who were very confused.
Right.
But it worked perfectly for us, and it was something. There was a concept that I saw in DC and in England that I had. It's called Nando's Peri Peri, and I love their concept. It's just grilled Peruvian. It's not Peruvian. Sorry, Portuguese chicken. Okay. And basically the concept was the same on the counter service, fast casual, and that's what I wanted. And we did it. We did that in Boca with success. However, we went to Delray, off Atlantic Ave on Pineapple Grove, and it was double the size, and we did the counter service. And I was like, this location should be busier, if not more. It's a lot more foot traffic and everything. However, I started noticing we weren't busy, and I think it took me like a year or two, and I really had to find a way, and my uncle really helped me. And we were like, okay, we need to change this to a full service. Full service meaning like you need waiters, you need hosts, bussers, everything like that. Okay. And part of the reason why I didn't want to do that was because the whole labor challenge in Florida or in the industry in general was like, if we had a fast casual counter service, it helps us, people can do multiple tasks. It's a little bit easier. But going to the full service was another challenge. We noticed that in Delray, people wanted to come out, they wanted to drink, they wanted to relax and enjoy their meal. But when you have that fast casual counter service, it's just an in and out type of experience. And then we noticed in Delray, there wasn't much of a lunch crowd, because in our Boca location, we have a lot of corporate offices around. They come for lunch. We're near a university. We have a lot of late night students, and the in-betweens for family. But in Delray, it's more residential. Lunch was pretty much dead, and it's getting better now. But at the very beginning, we couldn't get that traction, and it's hard to find parking over there. That was a major key, and so we changed our concept when Corona hit. Actually, that year Corona hit, we changed the concept straight away.
Was that like a month during the opening? 2 months? How did you figure out like, oh, there's not?
It was like over a year, because I needed to see how it did for a year first. Like we had a good branding and everything. I knew people were gonna come in, but I was looking around like, I'm looking next door. They're busy. They're very busy. And I know Lemongrass is right there, our other family restaurant, and they're busy. But we weren't there yet. And one other thing as well, when you're on the Ave and a prime strip, is that we weren't serving liquor, alcohol. We had beer and wine, which is what we stayed true to, which we're still doing beer and wine and sake. And when people go out there, the older crowd, they want to drink and they want to have liquor. So now we rebranded ourselves to a full service, a little like a Tokyo Underground type of vibe, and we try to bring in more sake, like a sake house. So that's why that really taught me that just because you have one concept in one place, when you go to other places, you really have to cater to the community and what it is, because that community was a little bit more challenging at the beginning. So
that's very smart. What you and being a visionary, and then you saw everything, and then you study the market. Not just study it, but you say, hey, I got to re-innovate and redesign everything. Because you were very quick on your feet and adjusting. So, I mean, it took a year, but still,
Yeah, and that's why, I think when Corona happened, I think it was a blessing in disguise for us. It gave us, I was very stressed out. I think I even cried a little bit during that time. But it was very stressful, and it was, I say, a blessing in disguise, because it gave us the time and the opportunity to sort of like rework ourselves and restructure a little bit in that restaurant. And we luckily we had a great takeout system already. Like I'm so happy we had an online takeout. Everything was ready, and during the Corona, we didn't have any challenges for takeout. It was amazing. I knew like one of the busiest restaurant near us in Delray was having some challenges for takeout. They never did takeout before ever in their life. They had to close for like 2 months to figure it out. So that was helpful. And then they really, during that Corona time, it was really it helped us understand. Try to make sure the full-time staff were stayed on at all times, because they have family to feed, right? So we want to make sure that, and it helped build us as a team. Find out who's there for us to stay that we can build on. So it was very good.
Very cool, very cool. Now, speaking of Delray, I know this is a touchy subject, and you know, we never covered a lot of anti-Asian hate in the past, because in Florida there's not that big of a thing that's going on. It's more like New York and California. During the pandemic, I was talking to a lot of people, and they were telling me, how come you're not covering this and this and that. We did go to a forum, me and Frank. We went to it was the FBI, Homeland Security, who else was there? Like the police, head of police department. And we asked them about, you know, about this anti-hate and things like that. And they said majority is like a mental issue. That's what they had told us, and told us about precaution. But you had an incident, right, in Delray. Can you, is it okay for you to tell us the story here? So.
Yeah, of course. So just to give it a little bit of background for me, I grew up in a very, how do I say it? I was the only other race in my year growing up. Where I grew up, it was mainly white populated, which is fine. I didn't have a problem with that. But growing up, I always had racial slurs or whatever. And I remember being a kid, I always cried about it, things like that. I got into fights about it. Anyways, at the restaurant, so usually at the restaurant, I get racial slurs like maybe once or twice a month. And I don't know, that's maybe something that most people go through and that they might not say anything about, but it's just become so norm, which it shouldn't be. But during that day, basically we were trying to close up, working that night shift in Delray. We're trying to close up.
Well, what time was it?
It was like maybe 11:30. And it was a weekday. So it wasn't a weekend. I had 3 older gentlemen, just went to the pizza store next door, came by, sat on our table to eat. They weren't a customer or anything. You know, I don't want to be rude, but also you're sitting at our place eating pizza. So I just asked them, you know, we're starting to put the tables inside. I was like, hey sir, you know, can you guys mind sitting around the corner on the benches? We're gonna bring every table inside. And that's when it started. It started from the get-go. I was like, oh.
Kind of surprising.
Yes, it was. It was this, no, why am I gonna do that? No, you're from California, aren't you? Etc. And you know, you're not a Trump supporter, etc. or whatever. They were going at it. I was like, no, can you guys, I'm not trying to cause anything. Can you please go over to the benches around the corner? We just want to clean up and go home.
Were they sober? Or
I think they were intoxicated. I'm not sure if 2 of them knew each other. The other one, I'm not sure if he knew them. But it started from there. And then the guy was like, you know, F you. I don't know if I can swear. Like, F you, you know. I was like, whoa, calm down. And the girls were like, would you like me to call police? I'm like, no, it's fine. They're just a little aggressive. It's normal there, right? So I'm like, can you guys just go? And then all of a sudden, he's like, where are you from? I was like, oh, here we go. When they start asking that, you know it's going to be something, which I hate. It's like, where am I from? And I'm like, I'm from here. Like, why? He's like, you're not from here. It's like, I'm from here. You don't look like you're from here. And what does looking like from here mean? Like, I'm from here. Like, and they're like, no. Okay, I bet you're in China. You're from China, aren't you? Like, if you want me to be from China, sure. If I'll make you go, please. Right? It's like, no, you fucking chink. He started getting at me. I was like, whoa. So that's when it really starts. So, you know, I got a little bit aggressive, got in the face, and then I asked the girls that were helping me close out, can you please call the police? And then during that time, luckily she had her phone. I was like, oh, you know, what am I doing? I shouldn't be getting aggressive, because I was actually very tempered up inside, because I don't like to hear that, you know. Nobody does,
of course.
And I got my phone out. Luckily I started recording, which everything, you know, I never, I want to say I've never experienced something that bad, but I have.
Yeah.
But that bad on a older gentleman who is more experienced in life.
Right.
You know, I didn't experience that.
Right.
To the point where they're very in my face, telling me to go back to China, telling me that I started Corona,
Right.
starting to, you know, get your coronavirus out of this country, etc. And it was just very, very ignorant. So luckily the police came, they started walking off, etc. And then I posted the video on our social media just because I felt like, you know, people need to see this.
Of course.
It's
yeah.
like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yep.
And it wasn't anything to, I didn't want them to find who he is or whatever. It wasn't for that purpose. It was just so people can be aware. Like, it's not just happening in New York. It's not just happening in the big cities.
Yeah.
Even in the small towns,
Yep.
you know, in Delray Beach of Florida. Who
Yeah.
would have thought?
Yeah. Exactly.
And, you know, when I posted, it took traction. I had no idea it was going to be like that. I was like, whoa. I had news people calling me, everything. I was like, whoa.
That's what
you
I
know,
understand.
yeah, news anchor, local news. Even I got news from England and UK, the Daily Mail, asking us, and then people just messaging me from all over the world, actually,
Yeah.
emailing me, you know, just want to let you know we don't tolerate this and we're in support of you, from all over the world. I had people from, I think, Hong Kong. There was a lady from Spain. I was like, whoa. I mean, it was very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful, which was great. But it was very unexpected. I was just posting it on there just because I just wanted to say, like, we don't tolerate this.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was about it. It was just to be aware, like, whoever this guy is and whoever sees this, I hope if you ever see a situation like this that you would say something. That was my point on posting it. That was about it.
Right.
You know, it wasn't anything to try and get famous or whatever, or try to get traction for our business, but it just happened to be like that. I had random people just walk in and say, hey, we just want to say we're sorry what happened.
Yeah, I saw some of the clip, and I saw in the news that there was a lot of big support in different culture in Delray, right? Not just
Yes.
Asian, but different culture. They went there and sat down in the restaurant, right?
Yes, it's weird how it works out.
Yeah.
That such a big hate can bring so many different culture and people
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
You know, I think the Delray community itself, everybody in the Delray or Palm Beach County,
Yeah.
really came to the restaurant just to either dine and support, or really just stop by to say, hey, you know, I'm sorry what happened. And even the mayor of Delray reached out. I was not expecting any of this.
Yeah.
I was very shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy that they did, and I'm grateful for it. But at least, like, every race and every single culture, whatever you believe in, you know, they understood that this is not tolerated.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, and thank you everybody for reaching out. You know, I feel very blessed and grateful. It was almost a blessing in disguise. But
yeah, that's when I saw it. I was like, wow, this community turned out really well, and they supported, you know, a local restaurant like yours, and
Yeah.
everybody was there, and they were talking about that. You know, we don't tolerate that. So
exactly, it was a very big thing for me. So I do appreciate everybody that helped support. I couldn't ask for anything more. So yeah.
very cool. So being in the restaurant industry, do you have a favorite dish, and why is that like your favorite dish on your restaurant?
At our restaurant,
Yeah.
at Ramen Lab.
Yeah. No, so
I was like, oh, this
it's a hard question because
Yeah.
everything is kind of like they look at their food is kind of like their kids, right? You
Yeah.
can really pick which one is the best, but but if you had to like really pick one, and what would it be?
It'd probably be my grandma's duck ramen.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
describe it like
Perfect.
what's in there. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I'm about to. My mouth is salivating right now. It's like a Thai duck noodle soup. So we use like a whole duck. We cook it in there with the broth, and the
Mhm.
broth is made up of 5 spices. You know, you got the star anise, cinnamon, other toppings that go into it, and it's just stewed for hours. It has like a savory broth. It's light. It hits like a umami type of flavor, which is like you know, sweet, salty, savory. It's all the points, and we grilled the duck. It's already marinated in the broth, and it's just juicy and nice and smoky and crisp. Yeah, it's one of my favorite. I grew up eating it. I would say that one and the wings. So the go-to thing when I was younger with my grandma was either fried fish or wings. And she made it so salty, but I loved them. I don't know why. I just enjoyed eating it anyway. So the wings that we do actually is part of her marination that we were taught growing up. So the duck and the wings, I always enjoyed it as growing up as kids, and those are probably my favorite dishes.
Very cool. Very cool. So in the house, is the Boca? Let's go back to Boca. The one in the Boca location, West Boca, is that going to be open anytime soon, or is it already open?
No, we're doing construction right now. So after this, actually, I'm going there. But looking for either end of August or sometime in September. So it's definitely coming this fall. We are hiring if anyone's looking for a job. Yeah, so that's the timeline. It's been a definitely learning experience for that location. So many things have gone up in prices.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize, and that I procrastinated on, that made things go up in cost.
Yeah. So how are you combating that? How are you being efficient when it comes to that?
I think for the prices wise in general, I think we tried to change our staff to do multitasking. Okay, so it makes more sense for us.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for most restaurants in general, we had to raise our prices by a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not because we want to make more of a profit. We actually take less from it.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. We're doing more research and talking to more distributors now to see who can give us a better price, or what do we need to do to get a better price. Because it's one of the things I learned as well from the build out of the new location is that if I didn't order this certain item in this month and I wait till next month, it just went up by times 3.
Oh, wow.
And I couldn't believe it. And I blame myself because I was procrastinating, or I just let it go or whatever. But I definitely learned that the hard way. But we're becoming more conscious of our spending, which is great. I think that's what we needed. And looking more at the numbers when we're trying to, with all the price increases. So I think, because not only is it food wise, but labor costs are going up every single year. I think the new law for Boca that they're going to hit is $15 minimum wage per hour, which is great. I think it's good, but that's more than 100% increase from what it originated from. And we're just trying to figure out how we're going to tackle that, because the job roles and responsibility will have to change. It's just adapting.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's nothing that we can do about it as much, but for us to survive, we have to adapt. That's what it is.
In the restaurant business, how important is a vendor relationship?
In a restaurant, I think it's pretty important. It's very important. Not just restaurant, but I think in any business, just having that a relationship in marketing and anything that touches your business is always good. Having that, I think having a good relationship really helps you. You know, once in a while, if you're in an emergency situation and you need like, hey, you know, I forgot to order this.
Yeah.
You think you can help me out a little bit? And the sales rep like, okay, I'll bring it out for you. You know, one of the things that I was taught as a kid, and that is very, very, very important for us, is that we always pay our bills straight away. So I know some places or some business likes to leave it for a week or two, but one of the things that I think I hold dearly that my uncle taught me is that try to never have debt, and pay the bills straight away. Why are you holding the bills? If they gave you the product from the distributor, give them the check straight away or pay them straight away, because it only builds a good reputation and a good business model for you as well, so you know your true costs.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Where's the future of Ramen Lab? What is in the big picture, big scheme of everything in your mind?
The big scheme of everything. Definitely want to continue to grow.
Okay.
In the next 5 years, we want to try hit as many locations in the Palm Beach County area as possible.
Okay.
Right before Corona, I don't know why I think I was just young, dumb, and stupid. Not stupid, but yeah. I wanted to go to Miami. That was always in my head.
Yeah. Tell me about that. Why more up north than?
Because. So real quick story is that Miami, I signed a lease in Miami in Wynwood. We were gonna open one there.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that you guys would be there.
Yeah, that's just what we wanted, right? I was like, oh, you know, I gotta be in the city. I need to have better, more challenges, things like that.
Yeah.
And Corona happened, and I had to let that one go. I lost a lot of money in that, but it was a learning experience, and it really refocused my energy, and I was like, why am I going all the way to Miami? I have a good foundation here. I have loving customer, loving team here, and we need to expand within our vicinity of the county.
Right.
I think just doing that will help. So I think the next 5 years, that's our plan. We're gonna get West Boca. We're looking into Boynton Beach, and then we have a lot of people reach out about PGA, Jupiter, Fort Lauderdale. So I think we're gonna hit more of like our local areas. I think being there, because one of the things that I would like to challenge for later on in time is a Michelin, or even Michelin recommended, now that they're here in Florida.
Okay.
But they're mainly in the major cities, right?
Yeah.
So later on, Miami is on the books.
Okay.
But just expanding our concept. So technically, Ramen Lab has almost 2 concepts. You have the fast casual, and then you have the full service. So right now, we're just expanding the full service. Ideally, I would love to have the fast casual in other areas as well.
Okay.
A lot of people have asked us to franchise.
Yeah.
Thought about it. Would definitely love to go that way later down the line. But I think just us expanding, building a team, having a centralized kitchen, and restructuring ourselves, because there's always, my day is always different every single day.
I can imagine.
And now I would love to, because so it's funny, I just had a talk with one of my kitchen staff, my kitchen manager. I was like, if I'm succeeding, you need to be succeeding with me. So if I'm learning something, you need to learn something with me. So, in the next few years, we need to have a stronger team. I would love for my management to be partners in the restaurant, to have something of their own.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I don't want to be greedy for myself.
Yeah.
If they're working just as hard as me, they deserve just as much as me.
Yeah, and you guys are creating a good name and a good brand. So, speaking of Boynton Beach, I know I spoke to the mayor. He's Asian. He's a Filipino American.
Nice.
So he told us that it's a growing community, and he told me, like, if you know any company or business that wants to, send them my way. So there you go.
Okay.
His name is Ty.
That's
okay. So talk to Ty and tell him information how to send you.
Okay.
Yeah. So he'll work with you, because he said they have a lot of funding available.
Sure.
He actually said that during the Philippine Independence in West Palm Beach. They had it in Florida Fairground. So.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, he announced it. He said, if anybody wants to start a business in Boynton Beach, let me know, because the next upcoming city, he said, it's gonna be Boynton Beach.
That'd be great. I think so too. Boynton Beach is booming right now.
Yeah. There's a newer, younger crowd and generations are coming. That's what he told me, so.
I would love that. Yeah. I mean, the fact that, I think, so since we're talking about Asians, and Asian community, is that back when I was living here, like in school, I don't think there's that much of a big Asian population here, but
we're all scattered.
We're all scattered. However, it's getting more.
Yeah.
I think I enjoy that. It's just to feel something of that look like us and things like that. But my point, I forget my point now. But it's nice to have that and that diversity. I think in my team, I think I literally have every single race in my team. Usually, like if you go to an Asian restaurant, all the cooks are Asian or whatever.
That's very cool though.
Yeah.
So that you represent that kind of diverse of culture.
Yeah.
So, what was I gonna say? So you're the parent is the Ramen Lab the parent company, or there's other companies besides Ramen Lab? Because I know I was talking to one of my friends. We went to I can't. Long story short.
Yes.
Yeah. So is that part of Ramen Lab, or that's separate, or what? Can you tell us?
Yeah. So we're essentially, I like to say we're a family restaurant group.
Okay.
I think we're trying to brand Lemongrass Hospitality Group.
Okay.
So basically, cool. It started with mom, my uncle, grandma, my aunt.
Yeah.
And as we expand a new generation, which is us, me, we're starting to open up our own as well. So which is great, but we use the same resources and facilities as one.
Yeah.
So our other brands that we have within our group, so you have Ramen Lab Eatery, Long Story Short Cafe, which we just opened.
That's a great name. What did they come up with, the Long Story Short?
So in Thailand, there's like cool, funny names like I Wine You, which is like a wine bar, or After You, which is a dessert bar. And we wanted something like that here that we haven't seen here.
Yeah.
And we're like, what should we do it? So me and my girlfriend who opened it, it was we're like, okay, we need like a cute name. This is gonna be a cute place. Like we definitely need something. And we're going through names. It's like I like long story short, but she likes to say that a lot. She talks a lot, and she goes, oh, long. I was like, long story short, what's the point? Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. So long story short was the cafe name. That's how we came about it. And it's a completely different concept. We wanted to do a breakfast concept. We love drinking coffee, so we work with a local coffee person, Pump House. The two brothers that own it are amazing, and we wanted to do something healthy. We have like organic smoothies, Asian-inspired sandwiches and salads, and acai bowls. Something completely out of the ordinary than what we already do.
Yeah, that's very smart because the customers or the consumer nowadays, they're very smart of what they put in their body.
Exactly.
So it's pretty cool that you guys did that. So.
Exactly. It was like a 180 because usually Asian food is comfort food.
Yeah, exactly.
Asian food is all like a perception of like a fried or something, right?
But it's good.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good. But it's that perception.
Yeah.
So that's why we did the long story short. And then to tackle that perception, by the way, we ended up opening another concept called Eat District, which is right here.
Yes, I've been there. I was like, what is this? I started going there, and then there's a robot there.
Yes, so we started integrating the robot. It helps out with the shortage of staff.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it brings out the food and everything.
I think it brings a lot of customers there too because they want to see the robot. Too,
exactly, something different. But the main point of the robot is it's there to help us out, and it's an extra helping hand essentially. And but the Eat District concept is essentially.
But you didn't catch some of the busters sleeping on the side, right?
No, exactly. And this robot sings happy birthday too.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, guys, can you come help me sing happy birthday? They're like, no, I don't want to sing. I don't want to sing.
And you bring the robot.
The robot comes out singing happy birthday. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But the Eat District concept is Asian Chipotle essentially.
Yes, I saw that.
And we wanted to do a healthy concept.
Yeah.
So everything is either oven roasted, oven baked, grilled, nothing fried. Light oil, organic, gluten-free, a lot of gluten-free options.
Yeah.
So it's been something new, but challenging. But because as we do these new concepts, we tend to go back and we're like, we're doing a lot of new concepts, but we should stick to our core that we do.
Yeah.
So,
But it's pretty amazing though, because you've been eating at Ramen Lab too much, like I need something to change. You go to long story short, then look how you go to lemongrass. You guys are dominating the area here. Hold on.
So that's why I was like, why are we going to Miami? We have so much more opportunity in the local area. We need to tackle the local area first.
Smart.
And then plus our staff love it. The staff that work for us, I'm like, okay, they're always asking me, where should I go for my mom's birthday? I was like, well, did you know we have another restaurant that you can go, and we have employee discounts for us.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice for them to go and eat. So
Very awesome. So what else do you have besides the restaurant? What else do you have the things that's going on in the horizon that you see?
So I just bought my first house.
Congratulations.
So, there we go. So now I'm starting to get a little bit of understanding in real estate.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go into that next.
That's good. Real estate is very important.
Yeah, just something small, not crazy. I'm just trying to stick to my foundation. So one thing I think people should know about the restaurant is when you find a place, you're essentially leasing from a landlord.
Yep.
So ideally, the next 5 years, I'm saving and being a little bit frugal on what I'm doing, because I would love to buy a small little place that I can just own and operate myself.
Yeah, that's very smart.
Yeah, because the Miami challenges was because I was dictated by a landlord that I had to pay and things like that, so I had to leave, and it was a whole ordeal. But that's one of my next ideal project that I would love to do. Right now it's mainly just focusing. I think restructuring, reorganizing what we have is very key. We're in the process of building a new centralized kitchen. So it's a lot of things going on, but I think just in our business, it's not just about restaurant. You're having different departments. So now we have the restaurant. We need to build on our marketing. We need to build on our HR department. We need to build on our operations, things like that.
Yeah.
So we're getting there, and I think that's the focus right now.